Hello.
I think it's about time.
Sorry, are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
So we will wait for sir to join in, and with the permission of the director, sir, we will start. Dr. Abdussalam, are we good to go from your end?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Yes, yes.
Maybe I
So,
should get. Maybe I should use an earpiece to
yes,
avoid background
that is
noise. Let me get
that is
an
fine. That
earpiece.
is fine. Yes. So with the prior permission of our respected director, sir, can we start?
Yes, we can start, Dr. Amoo.
So, Dr. Abdussalam, our student Gauri will be the coordinator for the event. She will be sharing your PPT, and whenever you require her to change the slides, she will change the slide. Gauri, we can start.
Greetings of the day. A very warm and cordial welcome to our dignitaries, faculty members, and participants present here today. Symbiosis Law School Nagpur is committed to fostering academic excellence, professional ethics, and global competence through a robust and holistic approach to legal education. With a strong commitment to nurturing future legal professionals, Symbiosis Law School Nagpur consistently strives to cultivate critical thinking, leadership, and a deep sense of social responsibility among its students. At Symbiosis Law School Nagpur, we place great emphasis on fostering intellectual engagement and cultivating a global outlook among our students. Through thoughtfully curated academic initiatives and platforms, we seek to facilitate meaningful dialogues, encourage critical inquiry, and bridge the gap between the theoretical knowledge and practical applications. The international cell here at Symbiosis Law School Nagpur is delighted to host yet another enriching session. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Abdussalam Olawale Amoo, a lecturer in Federal University, who will be enlightening us on the topic digital etiquettes and professional communication in legal profession. It now gives me great honor to invite our respected director, Dr. Professor Sukhvinder Singh Dari sir, to deliver the welcome address. Sir's visionary leadership and unwavering commitment continue to guide the institution towards new heights of excellence.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you to this international virtual lecture on the topic of digital etiquettes and professional communication in the legal profession. So, like you all know that in today's rapidly evolving this digital world, we have seen that the way we communicate has transformed significantly, especially when the legal professions in our profession, where professionalism, ethics are really important. And understanding this digital etiquettes is no longer an optional because every time we are on digital now, so it's an essential skill which every aspiring and practicing legal professional should have. So this session, I believe, will provide such valuable insights and by maintaining a kind of effective communication in virtual and digital spaces. We are very happy and honored to welcome our guest today, our esteemed speaker, Dr. Abdul Salam, lecturer in the Department of English at the Federal University, Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering this session on a very important topic. And we are really grateful for your presence today, and you have taken your time and you are going to share your knowledge and expertise with us. And we are really confident that your insight will really enrich my students in understanding this important subject. Thank you so much once again for joining and supporting us. With these, I welcome all the students and Dr. Abdul Salam to this virtual lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest speaker for today. Dr. Abdussalam Olawale Amoo is a lecturer in the Department of English at the Federal University Wukari, Nigeria. He earned his PhD from the Department of English at the University of Ibadan. His research interests span social linguistics, linguistic landscapes, onomastics, digital humanities, and pragmatics. He is also the publisher of educeleb.com and host of the Education Podcast, a platform dedicated to conversations on contemporary issues in the education sector. His work explores the intersection of language, society, and digital communication, with a particular interest in how emerging media shape professional and public discourse. We are truly honored to have you with us today, and we extend our heartfelt welcome. Without further delay, I humbly invite our esteemed guest speaker to kindly take the honor and share their valuable insights with us.
Thank you very much. Will you please share the slides, the screen?
I hope, sir, it is visible.
Yes, make it use the slideshow option. Slideshow. Exactly. Right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the director and everyone out there at Symbiosis Law School for this, and I appreciate this opportunity to present my insights on digital etiquette and professional communication in the legal profession. I believe that you can hear me clearly. Please confirm so before I proceed. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please continue.
All right, all right. I just needed to confirm that before proceeding. What in the digital world that we are today, we can't escape the use of digital platforms, as we need them to communicate with one another in one form or another, either through emails, through messaging applications, or virtual meetings like this one we are holding now. And for those
Dr.
of us
Abdussalam,
that yes.
sir, your voice a little bit feeble. Can you please speak a bit louder?
Okay.
Yes, now it is
Is
fine,
it
sir.
clearer now?
Yes, sir, it is clear now.
All right. Okay, let me see how to hold this throughout. All right, as I was saying, for many of us, let me just restart. I'll start by stating, by appreciating the director and every member of staff of Symbiosis Law School in Nagpur and everyone out there, as well as especially the students for this session. It should be noted that we can't escape the use of digital tools in the modern age that we are, as we need them to communicate with one another, either by sending messages on mobile messaging applications, by sending emails, or through attending virtual meetings and some other mediums. So for those of us, majority of us are aspiring to become lawyers. The majority of the people in this session are aspiring to become lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. I've never been a lawyer. Maybe I don't think I have such ambition anytime soon. But my forte is about communication, and in this regard, it's important that one is able to communicate clearly, professionally, while using these various platforms. Can you proceed to the next slide? Another term for digital etiquette is the next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. So another term for digital etiquette is netiquette, and refers to the standard of appropriate behavior when communicating through digital platforms. Now, as I stated earlier, some of these digital platforms include email, messaging platforms, video conferencing platforms, social media platforms, online collaboration tools, and so on. Next. So, and based on our calling as lawyers, take a look at this. These pictures are just to illustrate some of these applications that are in use. So, let me focus on the last of them all that was there now. Whenever you want to send an email, you see that there is the person you're sending the email to, the other people that could possibly receive it that will not be clear. Those are the CC, that's the carbon copy, somebody else that receives the email that is not the direct recipient, and then the BCC, that's somebody else that received the email that is not known to other recipients as a recipient. And then there's the space for the subject, and then there's a space for the body of your message. Then you have other options there where you have where you can attach documents, videos, or pictures, or whatever it is you want to attach. And this can also apply on our various platforms, messaging platforms too. So some of us many of us are familiar with WhatsApp, and there are several other platforms that are in use over there in India that are particular with India. We'll get to that later on. So the next slide, please. So as please, you have to slow down. You have to slow down. You have to slow down. Don't take it too fast. So gradually, before get into the principles, when you open your email platform, any email platform you use, you find your inbox, start, and other features there. But whenever you are to send a message, you already know whom you are sending a message to. So you have the person's email address. So it's important. The first thing that's important beyond your own email, the recipient's email address, is the subject line. Whenever you're sending a message, ensure that the subject line is clear. Your subject line must be clear, as you'll see in the examples that we'll show you very soon. Please, the next thing. So this example, the illustration here says, request for clarification on contract clause 4. So in this instance, the sender of the message is clear about something. So whenever you want to send the message, whenever you want to trace the message in future, it will be easier for you to trace it if your subject is very clear. And the purpose of your message is clearer to whoever is receiving that email. So, and if at all there's an attachment from your subject line, it is clear from your attachment that this is what your message is all about. The second point, please. Salutation. It's important to greet. I mean, many of our cultures around in the global south, greeting is very important. So for you as law students, you know that you should normally greet. And so whenever you're starting your email, irrespective of how close you are to the recipient, you ensure to include a greeting, because the greeting shows some level of courtesy. The third point is about, hello? The third point is about being concise and structured in writing. So whenever it is you're writing your message, you don't have to make it unnecessarily long. Get straight to the point. After your greeting, especially when you're communicating with someone you've been interacting with for some time, you don't need to go about asking how the family was, how the person woke up last night, the party you attended last week, all those other things. After the greeting, just get to the point. So in your email, you get just short in brief terms, state whatever it is you're writing about and make your request clear. The fourth point. Politeness is important. So the tool you are to adopt while sending a message must be polite. And as future lawyers, you negotiate, you need to build the trust of clients, and you need to be able to de-escalate conflict. So in order to do this, you must learn to be polite. So using harsh tone would not be condoned. I would not sound professional as against when you use a diplomatic tone. Next. So this is just an instance. It says you're sending a message to somebody. So send me the document immediately. You rather use kindly share the documents at your earliest convenience. Don't create some some sense of urgency when there's no sense of urgency in any sense of it. One other thing that could be included in your email is a disclaimer and along with your professional the signature. So your email should end with your name. In your own case, as students, you name your law school or your firm if you work in a firm. You include your contact details. What can be optional there could be to add a disclaimer like this: that this message contains some confidential information intended only for the recipients. In this case, you made it clear that you're not to be held responsible if the email gets to some other places it shouldn't get. That you have already indemnified yourself from any liability that comes as a result of somebody leaking the email. Let's get to the next slide, please. So I have a set of examples here. Please look at this email. The email starts with the subject. Don't share anything any further for now. Let me just briefly explain this. This email does not hold on. Okay. This the first version of the email by the left, which is the bad version, is in a commanding tone. Say, send me the message, send me the case file now. I need it. So the problem with this kind of email is that it is abrupt and it's a directive to a senior. You can't address a senior in such a manner. You can't just ask for that, and it may damage professional rapport because you need to interact with one another. So the tone in which you write your email is very important. So rather than sounding such a so rash, you could rather make your purpose of your email clear. Request for a case file. So the subject of your email is clear. In the preview, in the bad version, it just was urgent. Urgent. What is urgent? Urgent is urgency. What is urgency? Without mentioning whatever it is about. So it's important that you state clearly from your the subject of your email what your email is about, and then from the body you organize it well with the greeting, with the purpose stated, and with the signature at the end of the day. So the lesson we can learn from this, please, let's have that. The result of this is that you maintain professionalism in emails and email writing in this case. Let's get to the second example. In this second example, it's supposed to be an assignment that you're submitting to your professor. So, and you needed an extension. So rather than you don't just write assignments. So that means using such a title it's not that clear. I won't be able to submit today. Give me more time. You're not addressing even if the person were to be your younger one, don't address them that way. So such an email shouldn't be sent to your professor or your teacher. So it doesn't sound respectful. Let's see the better way to write it. So request for extension on assignment submission. So in this case, the person starts by saluting the professor, greeting, and making the request known, and then appealing for more time, and as well as ending the email appropriately. The good thing about this one is that with this sort of writing, the message is clearer to the recipient and shows that you have a sense of responsibility, and there is a likelihood that the professor will respond to you positively as a result of the tone you adopted in this email. So let's take a look at another example, another scenario of good email, bad email. In this case, somebody had just completed the work. You sent an email to somebody, some international client. The person just wrote, "Hey, I checked it. It's fine." That's not so clear. It's vague, and it's clearly informal. So the problem with this is that let's see the other version of it so that we'll see a comparison of the two. So then you can see in the second one, the title as against the other one. The subject of the good version of that email, it reads review of contract documents. That's clear. And whoever is reading the email knows exactly what it's about. So from this email, the recipient makes it clear that he had read the contract agreement, the contract document, and it is in order. And it will, and if there's anything, any other further information, would make we will make a further clarification. We'll seek further clarification about that. So the good thing about this good version of the email is that it builds confidence through clarity and professionalism, as against the other one where there's little confidence and trust in the lawyer based on how the tone of the email sounds. So it should be noted that all these are just examples for any form of online writing, or the digital writing, because it's not only email that you send. As I'm aware of, in India, majority of people use WhatsApp than email, as against the way in some other parts of the world. So they use WhatsApp more. When you're interacting with somebody, whether it's as in any of these contexts, it's important to ensure that you maintain formality, professionalism in your and professionalism in your writing. So I'm just using email as just an example. Let's take another example of another kind of email. The fourth example, I have like 7 examples here, just to illustrate the difference between good and bad email. So in this case, somebody just wants your colleague to correct something. You just said the draft is full of mistakes, fix it. And then the email is just titled errors. It's still not clear, and it's harsh in tone. Tone, even if you are the superior, the tone of that email is still harsh, and it's not so good. It doesn't encourage teamwork. It damages it, and it damages potentials for collaboration when you use such a tone in an email. Just writing that it's not ideal. Let's take a look at the good version of such an email. How would you have written it better? So when you are giving a feedback, you should be constructive, not destructive. So feedback on draft documents. Somebody sent you a draft document, and in this case, Anand was sent a draft document. So you have to make it clear what exactly is wrong with it. What exactly is wrong with the document? Make it clear and give your instruction clearly, formally. And in that sense, you encourage, in the sense of your choice of words there, you encourage collaboration and professionalism, and at the same time maintain respect within your team members. Let's take a look at the 5th example. So somebody sent an email. You can see that each of the scenarios serves a different purposes. Each of them is introduced there for different purposes. So in this case, somebody has sent you an email earlier. You are sending another email in which you are trying to follow up on what the person had done before. Maybe the person did not reply you earlier. So you don't just write a reminder, why haven't you replied? You don't just say so. So because in certain cultures, as we will later learn, in certain cultures they have a culture, they have a sense of delay. They delay things. In some other, it's not supposed to be the case anyway. But in certain cultures, there is this sense of delay or a delay in reply. So in such instances, you should accommodate people that in that sense. So even when you need to write a follow up email, you use language that's much better. As you can see in this case, between Taj and Raj. Taj sending maybe Raj earlier sent an email to Taj and didn't get a response. Going on. So he sent another email to follow up on that earlier email. That's what has happened in that instance. So, and with that, you maintain professionalism and increase the possibility of response in case perhaps the person's mind escaped it earlier. The 6th one, please. So this email is just about a contradiction risk. So maybe as a lawyer, you sent an email to somebody. So, and And with the choice of words, it's still not clear. It's careless and risk. There's some legal risk in the such choice of words. So we don't just use such words there. So because it may serve as knowledge of wrongdoing in legal proceedings when you don't write clearly. So take a look at the better version of that email. So contract clause issue review. This email is sent by by Mahmoud to Ind. So there may be a potential risk with this clause. It will be advisable. So you are the legal advisor to somebody. So you advise it will be advisable to review and address these concerns before proceeding. So it's clearer and it's professional. As you are a lawyer, you must be professional in your choice of words and you reduce legal exposure because as a lawyer, you are meant to advise your clients appropriately. And now to the seventh example. The seventh example, please, is you are a third year you're a third year student and you needed to seek internship somewhere. I understand that in the third year over there in India, you have to go on internship at a law firm or a government parastatal or NGO. So in your first email to somebody that you've never communicated with before, you have to be mindful of your choice of words. So take a look at this bad version of the email of an email sent. Said, I want to intern with your firm. Tell me if there's space. That's not so good. You didn't introduce yourself, just went straight to the request. It's unprofessional of you to do so, and such an email or message could easily be ignored. So let's take a look at the better version of that instance. You start your email with a good subject. Look at the subject. You look at the two subjects. And the bad version of the email, we have just internship as the title of the subject. But another one, you have application for internship opportunity at your firm. So the subject is clearer, and wherever the recipient is going through the email, the person knows that this is what the email is about, and it knows that it's about an application. Because internship, it's just it can be vague. It might not be so clear. So you need to start by greeting, salutation, introduction of your self-introduction. You know that it's your first email. You start with self-introduction after the greeting. So even if you're addressing the director, you are sending a message to the director. You don't assume that the director knows every one of you. So you start by greeting, followed by a self-introduction, and then to the purpose of your email. So or your message. In this case, I'm writing to express my interest in an internship opportunity at your firm, and the message proceeds on like that, and then the message ends properly with the person's name, Sir Shahrukh Singh. I don't know whether there's any such combination, and I just cropped that from the name of this actor, Shah Rukh Khan. So Shahrukh. So and I think the director is Dr. Singh. Apologies for that. So then you end the email appropriately like that. So you end the email with your position and then your school in that case. So let's get into the next one. Next. So we're getting to the messaging apps. There are various messaging apps that we use today. You have WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, Sundays, Aratai, Joy Chats. The last three mentioned there used in India, and they are normally mainly used in informal settings, but then they're increasingly being used in formal occasions around the world, and it's not something strange in India to find that. So as lawyers, you must remember to use these platforms professionally whenever you need to use them, in as much as they are initially used for informal situations. So you should learn that properly. So we're getting about to the best practices in doing so. You should try and avoid Avoid using shortened forms, abbreviations, PLS for please, ASAP, and others like that. Avoid such usage. And equally, emojis. There are various emojis that I use there. There are people use, but when you are using these platforms professionally, you avoid the use of emojis, except if you find that the conversation is informal between your friends or between anybody you feel that is informal to you. Maybe your father is a principal or a teacher, and you are interacting with the person as your father. There's no problem if the emojis are fine with him in that context. But when you're interacting with such a person in official capacity, you avoid emojis. Then you maintain respectful tone. This cannot be overemphasized. In the early examples regarding the emails, so those early examples are applicable here as well. Cool. You should avoid sending messages at night with some sense of urgency. Except if it's necessary, you don't send any message on late at night. So, and if it's necessary, you include some words of apologies and then you get to the point of your email. So when an email is urgent, we mark it with urgency, with urgent. But then you should avoid doing unnecessary follow up still in the night over that. The last point there is about let's say the last point there. Don't create don't have a culture of making things urgent all the time. So in that sense, just avoid adding some sense of urgency to everything all the time, because there's usually time, except there will be emergencies definitely. So whenever you're sending a message, you avoid anything that leads to all creating uh, less time for people to respond properly. Because even in the law courts, the, the judge would give people time. The magistrate, whoever is presiding over the court, would give time, give room for people to address for both parties in the case to address their concerns. So in your email, you try as much as possible to create some false agency culture. So before moving on to the next slide, I just needed to just to explain some things about one of the pictures there. Return to the previous slide, please. So these messaging apps are good for us. And social media apps, they are very good for us. At times, they help us build communities. They help us build our creativity. Some people get their validation from it. Some people grow from it. They gain the happiness from it and all that. But beyond all this, there's also the issue with increasing people in fatigue, sadness, comparison, and other negative repercussions to them. So we should be mindful of how we use these messaging apps generally. We should be conscious of our activities on them. Moving on to the next slide, please. Video conferencing. Many of us are familiar with Zoom. We're on Zoom at the moment. There are people that are also on Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and so many other apps like that. So people increasingly use them. So whenever you need to use these platforms, make sure you address appropriately. You don't say because you are not you are in your room or you're in a private place, you now leave your body necessarily open on as against how you do normally, and then you keep your mics mute until you are meant to speak. You avoid distractions. anything that, and then your background should be professional. So whatever background you're using must be should be professional to some extent. Don't use a background where there's some sort of distractions there. So it's important to ensure this in video conferencing situations. Now let's move on to the next point. Um, I think the next point is about social media. Social media has positive and negative sides. I don't need to re-emphasize that. So, but many of us use this social media platforms mentioned here. We use LinkedIn, X, which is called Twitter, with Facebook, and I believe if I ask some of us to mention some other platforms there, we'll be able to mention them. Later on, I will be asking a few questions. I would have even loved to be asking questions now, but I don't know the arrangement from the directorate over there. Because I usually prefer students responding at times as I'm teaching. So I don't know whether there will be an opportunity for students to respond in the process. So generally, as I was saying, social media, you have to be careful with how you use social media because it can harm your professional credibility. You can't just make any posts carelessly. You can just make posts carelessly. Careful with posts you make. Avoid commenting responsibly. Avoid offensive and inflammatory comments, and maintain professional boundaries in all situations. I don't. Many of you are familiar with videos. Is going around the world, irrespective of your opinion. You are free to hold on to your opinion, irrespective of that. You should be responsible. You should act responsibly in how you use this social media platforms. Let's get to. I think the next point is about AI. Next slide. There are several artificial intelligence tools that lawyers use today. The most common one that people talk about these days is ChatGPT. So it can aid in generating ideas, drafting briefs, summarizing ideas, and all that. Grammarly helps with your grammar, clarity, and tone. There's some other ones there, Copilot. You can even draft in your email and building your document. Google Gemini is also there. It can aid in your content creation and research support. These other ones listed here are specifically for lawyers. We have relativity. Relativity, yes. You can help you streamline documents. You have a lot of documents, like you have 500-page document or 500,000-page document. Give it to relativity. You can help you look at how these documents, how they relate to one case, how cases in the document relate with one another. It can aid with that. Everlaw, it can help you summarize legal documents. Logix, spelled with Geeks, spelled as Gex. So it helps in analyzing legal operations. The other ones there are Smith AI and Lodge. So you can always look them up. They're used among lawyers around the world. So you can always look all them up and find out more about all this one. Next slide, please. So using AI use is beneficial to us. It's beneficial in many ways. As you can see, you can use it in drafting documents. You can use it in drafting email. It can improve clarity in many ways and structure of our writing. You might have written something, give it to AI, so it would clarify it and make it clearer and make the structure better. And perhaps you've written on your own already. You need to proofread what you've written. AI is very useful in that respect. But there are some challenges or risks to using AI. Let's find out some about them. If you rely too much on AI, it can reduce your ability to think on your own as a legal practitioner. At times AI tends to give incorrect information. There was a case of a lawyer of a citizen in America recently who used AI who went to court to use AI to defend herself in court. And at the end of the day, AI gave several fake legal citations. And as a result of that, this particular individual lost the case. And if the person decided to sue the owners of ChatGPT for the damage that has caused her. So confidentiality. Anything you give to these AI platforms may be exposed. You never can tell how. There's nothing really safe online generally. You won't say that there's nothing confidential. The owners of these platforms are government controlled. ChatGPT is controlled by the American government, deeply by the help to the military. It's used controlled by the military and higher ups in the American government. So there's tendency that whatever information that you keep there, they can share with the government for law enforcement, whatever they call law enforcement in any sense of it. So you have to be mindful of what you share there. Let's look at some of the other things that we have to glean from there. So it's your duty to maintain your competence and diligence. So you are using AI, it's just assisting you. You should use your own intellect as well. So you are responsible for whatever it is you are submitting, whatever it is you are presenting. You're still responsible for it in multiple ways. So do your due diligence. After AI gives you anything, find out more about it. So I gave there is a risk of plagiarism on an unverified citation. I already illustrated that with a recent case in America about around that. So you should take responsibility for everything you submit there, because it's your name that will appear, that's appearing there, not the AI's not the AI tool's identity. Moving on, please. So the best way you can use it is these are the best practices in using AI. It's just a support tool, not a substitute. Verify legal information independently and never impute confidential or sensitive client data on it, because there's the potential for leaks that you cannot control. So beyond all this, I think that we're done with AI now. Let's move on to another part of this lecture. So okay, the last point there is about editing whatever it is that you give to the AI platform. You edit before use. So there might be some things that you need to make clearer, or some tone that you have to adjust properly, and some choice of words that you have to change this to suit what it is that you want. You don't use everything AI gives you hook line. Don't take it hook line and sinker. So with all this, you should be able to use AI well in digital communication as a legal professional. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Confidentiality. We've already hinted on the importance of confidentiality, and you must have been thought about this already. And it's illegal as a cornerstone of your legal profession. You don't accidentally forward messages to people. You don't. You have to avoid data leaks. There are times when the networks will not be secure. Perhaps when you're in a building where there is a free Wi-Fi, you connecting to that network can potentially leak documents on your computer to some other people at the other end. Many of you are familiar with that in India. So you don't have to use you don't use any Wi-Fi now, because there are potential data leaks. So insecure networks are equally a challenge that can breach confidentiality. When you are forwarding emails to somebody, at times when you forward emails or you archive emails, it could create some risks. There's some risks around that. Other risks about using unsecured Wi-Fi. It's still connected to insecure networks. That's some sort of repetition, and sharing sensitive information on messaging apps. Some of us are not that careful. So, but it's important that you have to be mindful of who you are sending your message to. Perhaps there are two people that answer similar names. Their email addresses might look similar to. So you have to be sure that it's the right person you're sending that email to. So because if you're not careful about that, the use of this digital platform could create some lead to you being accused of unprofessional misconduct. You know that there are usually cases of professional misconduct in various professions. So for lawyers, leaking information that should not be leaked it's a professional misconduct. So, and it's potentially you are not good. You have to be mindful of protecting the client's information, and then you secure discussing sensitive matters on informal platforms unless when necessary. And I think that's why the Indian government sometimes ago banned the use of certain I think the military was particularly banned from using platforms like WhatsApp and other platforms like that. And the government created a particular platform. I think that should be Sandes, that's dedicated to only communication among military officials. And some other governments too have adopted similar measures to protect the confidentiality or the secrecy information of their sectors. So you have to be dutiful in confidentiality. The next one, we don't just interact with our people of our heritage. We interact with people from around the world. So communication styles in one part of the world may differ from another. So that's what we're learning here. Please share the other parts of the slide. All right. Direct and indirect communication styles. In the West, people tend to value clarity and brevity. They send the documents by 5 p.m. I know it will be problematic to somebody in the West, but in other cultures, such as ours here in Nigeria, yours there in India, or some other parts of the world in Japan, we value a relational harmony, we value politeness. So you have to be clear about whatever it is you're saying, and you have to ensure that you respect, add some sort of respect in how you do that. Because I don't know whether I don't know whether the director of the Dr. Singh is there. Can you just tell us more about clarify this? Is there some sense of attachment to respect all the time in conversations, or is just beyond the greeting? Is it just limited to the greeting? Hello, hello. Is anybody following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought I also need some clarification about this.
Okay, sir.
For my the politeness, can you describe in what from what I've said so far? Is there some level of some sort of difference in how communication styles are in India as against other parts of the world? Is there anything to add about this communication style? Like when you have to make a request, you say it politely. Is there any other thing to add to that? Okay. It seems that there's no response here. Let me just continue. So, but respect hierarchy. Somebody is in several emails I've received in recent times. You see, respected sir, respected madam. It's a common term used in India. So, in other parts of the world, internationally, what we find is there, that, there, Nandi, there, Amitabh, there, whoever. So you, because of a familiarity, can be perceived as disrespect. So the tone of your email too should be professional. Oh, we've said this already. It's a call. It's something that should be understood cross board. The next point, please. That an email is delayed doesn't mean that somebody is incompetent. It could just mean that the person is just being careful. In some other cultures, such delays could mean incompetence, definitely, and could mean mean that somebody's inefficient. So cultures would vary. One culture will vary from another. So my experience with Americans will respond to your email earlier. Was against when the British would delay responses. So there are various cultural expectations. Most of the time in India, people use WhatsApp a lot. Nigeria, they use WhatsApp a lot. But in the western part of in the Western world, WhatsApp is not the most widely used platform. They really, some of them don't even know that WhatsApp exists. So in America, for example, emails are still much preferred as a means of communication than WhatsApp, irrespective of the fact that WhatsApp originates from America. So various contexts, various audiences, various purposes. So, but then whatever it is you're using, whichever platform it is you're using, still maintain professional tone in your use of language in all these platforms. One more point, please. The next point. So, because interacting with the international community, English proficiency is very important. If you're interacting with those that speak French, French proficiency would equally be important. Which other language you're using as a medium. So proficiency is very important. So and because it will reflect properly in you. So you should use cultural references, idioms, or sarcasm that would not look inappropriate or would not look offensive whenever it is you are making your choice of language. So be sensitive to other people's cultures. There are certain expressions that when you use them in your culture, it might not be offensive. When you use them in some other cultures, it wouldn't sound right. So you're mindful of all this when you interact with other people from other cultures, even within your country. The next point, please. So for you as students, the point is clear. Be respectful in your choice of language, avoid slang, excessive abbreviation, avoid that. Maintain formality over choose formality over familiarity. Irrespective of how familiar, how close you are to the person, still sound formal. And I think that I've seen that a lot of Indians are formal. They are too formal in their interaction with people anyway. So you should know how you address your clients different from how you address your seniors in the profession and as against your international partners. So with all this, you have been able to ensure cultural sensitivity. Now to the next point is there's usually hierarchy. There's hierarchy in any establishment. And as lawyers, there's hierarchy between you as an attorney or as a lawyer and a solicitor was against whoever the judge is or the magistrate is or the solicitor general is or as against some other hierarchies in the society, your clients, particularly in that case. So you should respect this power dynamics equally in legal communication. So the way you interact, please share the slides, please. Somebody is superior to you, to ensure to be respectful to the person, avoid casual language, and you show initiative without sounding directive. So it's not sounding as if you are the one issuing the directive. I would like to suggest that this is done. So all such expressions would be used. So you're addressing your boss because in this case the senior locate is some sort of your superior within the profession. You maintain such a level of respect for the person. You're addressing the you don't use the language that would be emotional when addressing a judge because the judge is not moved by emotion or moved by facts. So you should maintain formality and precision. So get to the point it is you're making when you're addressing the judge. So we have an opportunity to send an email to a judge. We have a Zoom meeting with the judge. So we maintain some sort of formality such occasions. And when you're addressing your client, the next point, please, be clear and professional. You don't avoid the legal jargon. Many of your clients are not professional. They are not versed in the legal jargon. So you don't use terminologies that they would understand clearly, because they have to be informed about whatever it is you're asking them, you're telling them on WhatsApp. Make it clear in simple man in single or some people would say explain to them like a 5-year-old. So you use use choice of you make things use choice of words that would not be ambiguous to them. So make things clear to them. That's the point being made there. So you show respect without intimidation. When you are too over familiar, you show some level of familiarity. It could be disrespectful. When you have so much difference, it could appear that you're not so confident. And if you use commanding tone, it could be perceived that you are arrogant. So you have to be mindful of your choice of words, your choice of expressions in the various hierarchies you interact with, whether as especially as a lawyer, you're interacting with your clients, the judges or senior advocates. You should be mindful of these various hierarchies in various digital communication platforms that you try to use. So now to the next, we're about concluding now. The next, okay. It's important to talk about this. You must have been, if you've not been taught already, you've been taught about the law of evidence or something similar to that. There are various legal frameworks even within India that will tell us that digital evidence have legal consequences, and some of them are listed here. So the Indian Evidence Act of 1872, this one was long-standing before the Bharatiya Shakshya Adiniyam was introduced in 2023, which particularly it captures the essence of digital evidence itself. So screenshots, timestamps, and other things could become evidence against a user, and even platforms could be liable to payments for not reporting certain things. As I've heard of of the Indian government suing X at some point in time, or suing some platforms like YouTube, banning accounts. There's certain videos that you cannot watch if you're in India, even if you have access to YouTube, because the Indian government feels that there are certain information that are harmful to the society. So then, if somebody decides that he wants to use this platform for something negative, the person could be sued as a result of such use. So the point there is that all these digital platforms, they become sort of um, legal damaging admission against somebody, and could damage people's reputation, and could even make somebody liable for misconduct as a lawyer. So somebody wrote on WhatsApp now. So, for example, look at this example. We know this is risky. Somebody WhatsApp. So it could be used as a basis for showing that somebody has knowledge of wrongdoing. And some other email whatever choice of word you use in your email could mean that could show whether you are credible or not so credible. Now let's get to the next point, please. Now we're about to round off. So I don't know whether some of our students here can unmute themselves. So I would want them to ask certain questions here. The answer will be shown definitely, but just the question. Just take a look at this. The question. Take a look. Let's see the question first. Show it. Show it, please. All right. Oh no. Don't show that yet. Now let's have some people randomly look at this WhatsApp message. What do you think are the issues with this WhatsApp message? Hello? Nobody's responding. What are the issues with this message based on what we've learned so far? Doctor, is anyone there to respond? You can see one hand raised there. Prasanna. Prasanna, you can go ahead.
Uh, so can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, the
Good afternoon.
message has grammatical mistakes and the spelling errors.
Okay. Grammar mistakes, spelling errors, yes. What was the grammar mistake there?
Sir, it could have
There's a
been a
grammatical
very
mistake there.
formal message stating that there is an urgency and you require the file.
Okay.
So could he please
Okay.
send it to us or the person who requires it? This is a
Okay.
very
That's better.
informal message.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you very much. Let's have another attempt at responding to this. You may raise your hand. I think there's an option for you to raise your hand there. Just like she just did. Can I call on Amber? I'll have to call on people myself. Since nobody's volunteering to respond. Deepak. What do you have to say about this? All right, let's move on. Yeah. Oh, we have some other questions later on. Sorry. So, as she has just pointed out now, we have issues with grammar. We have some issue with the formality. Politeness is there. That sense of urgency, she mentioned that already. And then there's a possibility of inappropriate timing. When you say something is urgent, what time are you sending a message? That you have to expect a very fast response. So there's a potential that the message is being sent at a time that it's inappropriate. Perhaps the message is being sent late in the night or very early in the morning, and you expect that somebody resumes office at 8, and the person should just before the person gets to the office, the work should be done already. So these are potential issues with this sort of messaging. Let's take a look at another one. So if you were to write this message, how would you write it? The clause is wrong. You need to correct it before filing. Let's have 1 or 2 volunteers. How would you have rewritten this message during the situation where it was brought before you and you need to rewrite it? I would advise that rewritten. Prasanna can try again if she's willing to do so. I can see hands being raised yet.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. So the clauses in incorrect.
Sorry.
And
Hello. Hello.
hello.
Hello. There is
Hello.
some echo from your end there. Are you? It seems many of you have more than one device being used there. That's why the echo is much.
So the clause is incorrect and must be revised to ensure accuracy and compliance before filing. And kindly make the necessary corrections and ensure it is properly drafted in the formal legal language.
Okay, that's good of you. That's good. You can use the other members, the other students here can use there's a way you have the emoji for clapping. You can clap for the clap. So that's very good, wonderful. Let's have another attempt at rewriting the message. No man is here. No man is willing to speak here. Are they boys? No man has spoken yet among the students. Dinesh is supposed to be a male name. Dinesh Kumar. What do you have to add to this? Rawat Jisha. Prati. Okay, go ahead, please.
So may I attempt?
Yes, you can add your input to this.
Sir,
Prasanna,
firstly,
it
I'll
seems
start
you
with a
muted yourself.
greeting. Good morning or good evening.
Okay.
And then I'll say that the clause that is presented is incorrect, and I'll also tell what is wrong. And
Very
then
good.
I'll advise that it is advised that the same should be properly changed or amended in this manner. And then
Very
I'll
good.
ask them with a please to do it properly, and then thank you.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Very good, wonderful. Let's see our answer here. Gauri. All right. So as a say in India, respected sir, respected madam. So why we're not starting with introduction here is that there's a potential in case of possibility that this person and the other person have been interacting before. So it's not every time you are interacting with somebody that you've met, that you've been communicating with constantly, in yourself like that. So just get to the point. So as Prasanna just said, and as the other person said, you have to respectfully state whatever the issue is and possibly state what you want the person to do about it. And even the last response was even better than just response showing on the screen now, which is wonderful. It shows that we have been following what we've been learning here since morning. Let's take a look at another example. I think this third exercise, the third one here, is a multiple choice question. What's the answer to this question? Somebody can answer it. Anybody can answer it. So which of them would you find most appropriate rather? Fix this immediately. This is wrong, correct it. Could you please kindly review this section? It may require revision. Or why is this like this? Which one would you find most appropriate?
Option C, sir.
Very good. Option C is the answer. Let's get to the fourth question. Option C it is the fourth question. So somebody sends this message. How is it going to be interpreted differently in various cultures? How is this going to be? Let's see the question, please. Just one tap. How is this going to be interpreted in USA, India, or Japan differently? and anybody can volunteer to answer this as well. So how is this going to be interpreted differently in various parts of the world? We're talking about having some sense of agency in messaging. How is agency interpreted differently in various contexts?
Sir, how do you ensure assertiveness of the commitment? Like, I want it by 5 p.m. How do you do it formally without sounding rude?
No. That's not the question. The question is about this. In various, you see that. What? Show it, please. Show that, please. Glory. How is this interpreted different? Is it in various cultures? Is there any difference in how it's interpreted? So let's take a look at the answer. Let's say look, nobody's ready to answer the question. So it sounds slightly blunt to somebody in India. It's acceptable and formal in America. It's potentially rude in Japan. So just write this, because in Japan they are much mindful of timing, and the time for rest is different from the time for work. So it can sound potentially rude. Send the document by 5 p.m. So it might be acceptable in America, because you see people respond to email even late in the night, early in the morning, any time of the day they can respond to your email or messages, even based on their own timing, local timing. They respond to you once they receive your message, you respond to you. There's no problem with that. But then it would sound rude or blunt someone in down over there in Asia, South Asia and East Asia. So you should be mindful of such a cultural interpretation. Let's look at another example, another exercise. We'll conclude the lecture. Next. So we have this email. What's wrong with this email? Don't share the gold version yet. What is wrong with this email? Anybody can respond to this. What is wrong with this email?
Sir, the greeting is too informal. It lacks professional or academic communication, and there is no like subject line, and there is very vague language on
Yes.
what is there, what is the subject and all. So we
Yes.
can't understand it.
Yes. Yes. So the subject line is missing, which is very important. Then the vagueness is also there. So it's vague. Even the one other thing that you've not mentioned is who is the sender of the email. Any email that you're sending must have a sender, and that the person's the signature would be at the end of the email. So after writing whatever it is you've written, you mention your name, perhaps the office or departments or firm or whatever address which you're writing it. And most of the time, people that will send emails will write it from offices or schools. So you should be mindful of this. So let's say the good version, the better way of writing it now. So in this or better version, the person addressing the address of the email is clear, and the addressee of the email is clear, because the addresser greets that person. Nadia is the person states the content of the email, and then ends with the greeting and mentions his name again. And you can see that in this good version, the subject is clear. Good job with the document. So the email is sort of giving a feedback on an email or on a work already done. So this differentiates a bad email from a good email. Let's get to the next point. The next, all right. If you've missed anything, what we've been saying this morning, don't miss this. You send a message. Before you send your message, you must proofread it. Don't write in capital letters. I didn't mention this long because when you write in capital letter, it could sound as if you're shouting. Don't overuse abbreviations. There are instances where it's possible to use abbreviations, but don't overuse them. Respond emotionally. You don't respond to a message immediately you receive it. You're angry, you don't respond in anger, because it could potentially damage a lot of things. And avoid ignoring messages. Some of you have messages from last month on your WhatsApp that you've not responded to at this time. So you have emails too that you've seen before, but you did not respond. So avoid such because you may potentially damage your reputation if you continue doing so. So let's get to the last of the slides. So just take note that all we've been saying this morning. Please continue sharing the slide. All we've been saying since morning is that the way we use these platforms could potentially. You are not sharing anything. The way we could use this platform could potentially build our confidence, the trust people have in us, and our professional reputation in multiple ways. So it's important that when we use these platforms, we use them with all sense of responsibility, with some sense of accountability, and with the hope that it could potentially grant us more opportunities in future. Be mindful of what you write, be mindful of what you say on these digital platforms, because that could make the difference between whether you are to be trusted or not. Thank you very much. Is anyone there to conclude as Dr. Afak? Anyway, is there any question? Does anyone have any question to ask me?
Sir, I want to ask a question.
All right.
So my question is, standardizing communication norms in global legal practice is desirable, or should flexibility based on cultural context be preserved?
We have to preserve flexibility. It's important to preserve flexibility. So we have to maintain good relationship with everyone we interact with, irrespective of their culture. So this flexibility, because you are culturally sensitive, you'll be able to preserve that professional interaction with other professional relationship with other people. Because when you say certain things in some cultures, it could mean something negative in some other cultures. Let me give you the instance of a dog. When somebody is called a dog in some Western context, it could mean prostitute. But in some other contexts as well, it could mean someone that's loyal. Because dogs, those that take care of the dogs, see some sense of loyalty among dogs. So some to the extent that they have names like Caleb. Caleb means dog so, but in some other cultures, being called a dog is an insult, or being called a pig is an insult. Some cultures okay, the one let me get to an instance that you're familiar with. In some parts of India, a cow is revered as a deity. So in that context, when somebody else treats the cow, eats the cow, or says some other things about the cow that you might find it that offensive, or there's some other things that are culturally sensitive that as long as you're familiar with them, you avoid touching on that so as not to offend the other side, and you also continue your communication with with the other party, irrespective of the time and space. Because you are culturally sensitive, you maintain long-term relationship with people than when you are not. I think that's clear. Any other question?
Yes, sir, if you can. How can cultural sensitivity in communication impact client trust and ultimately influence legal outcomes? Because we did talk about cultural differences with Japan, US, and India. So, could you help me with this?
Can you repeat the question?
So, my question was, how can cultural sensitivity in communication impact client trust, and ultimately influence legal outcomes?
Well, it can impact it a lot because it's part of you knowing your client. Because when you're representing a client, you don't know much about your clients. You will not be able to represent them properly. So it's part of it. It can positively impact it. Your knowledge of it, your knowledge of cultural sensitivity can positively impact it. Your ignorance of it can negatively impact it. As, I don't want to keep repeating the examples I've given already. So, but it can just be knowledgeable, just like you would find out about whatever case you are trying to defend or oppose. You're trying to represent a party to defend a particular case. You need to be familiar with it. And the process, if there's a need to cater to a cultural sensitive, you have to need to be culturally sensitive in the process. It's also part of it because it defines the results of such a legal proceedings eventually. Is that clear?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes,
I
sir.
can
I
hear
think we
you.
are running out of time and we are done with the questions. Can I deliver the vote of thanks now?
Yes, please proceed.
Yes, sir. So, good afternoon, everyone. As we come to the close of this insightful session, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Abdussalam Olawale Amoo, for taking out valuable time from his busy schedule to be with us today. Your enlightening thoughts and profound insights have truly enriched our understanding, and we are deeply grateful for the knowledge you have shared with us. I extend my sincere thanks to our respected director, Dr. Sukhwinder Singh Dari sir, for his constant encouragement and for providing us with such meaningful opportunities that contribute to our academic and professional growth. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to our Deputy Director, Dr. Deepti Kubalkar ma'am, for her continued support and guidance, which greatly contributes to the successful organization of such events. I would also like to convey my appreciation to the faculty in charge of the International Cell, Dr. Ahmar Rafaq sir, for his guidance and efforts in conceptualizing and facilitating this event. A special note of thanks to all the members of the International Cell for their dedication and seamless coordination in organizing this session, as well as the invaluable IT support team whose technical assistance ensured the smooth conduct of today's event. Lastly, I extend my sincere thanks to all the participants for their enthusiastic presence and engagement, which truly made this session interactive and worthwhile. With this, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you all once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
I wish you all the
Abdul
best.
Salam. We look forward for having more sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very
No
much, sir.
problem.
It
I'll
was
be
a
willing
pleasure
to
interacting with
be
you.
part of it. Thank you. Bye.